congregation of Rockland County, and my friend, Rosenblum. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Before I introduce our keynote speaker for tonight, I'd like to recognize and thank a number of people without whom this event and everything that we've accomplished this October would not be possible. Our incredible board of directors of the Federation, led by our president, Marcy Preston, and our vice president, Dustin Houghton. Our dedicated staff, Barry Kenrick, Ethan Ehrlich, and for most of the last year, extra children. Our great group of volunteers who have given their time and energy tonight and throughout the many events we've had this past year. Our core agency partners and their leaders, Andrea Winograd, Maria Dowling, Doug Oliver, and David Kirchell. Our county's rabbinic leaders from our local board of rabbis and elsewhere who have provided guidance and support for all our work. Again, Rockland's elected and appointed leaders who will be so receptive to our needs and concerns. I'm sure I'm missing some exemplary partners, and I beg your forgiveness. It has been a busy few weeks. In fact, a busy several months. Finally, all of you, thank you for standing together right here in Rockland. Thank you for supporting our vital work. Thank you for your commitment to Am Yisrael. A number of years ago, I was privileged to work with David Efune among a diverse group of Jewish leaders from across the spectrum of religious, political, and parochial Jewish identities. The purpose was clear: to unify the voices of those who love and stand for the Jewish people and Israel, to confront anti-Semitism, to act with clarity and effectiveness. I was always impressed with his insight. David Efune is a publisher of the New York Sun, chairman of the New York Sun Company, and honorary chairperson of the Alpine. He is widely credited with transforming the Alpine from a Yiddish language print publication into a major international online destination for Jewish, Israel, and Middle East related news. He's a popular public speaker and is regularly interviewed on major TV channels. His writings have been published by leading publications including the Wall Street Journal and The Spectator. Ladies and gentlemen, David Efune.
Dear friends, I don't intend to talk much about October 7th. I have little to add to what has already been shared tonight. I'd like to talk instead about October 8th, and specifically the path that the Jewish state and the Jewish people have walked since that very dark day. In some circles, particularly in the Jewish diaspora, and understandably so, there was at first a great deal of fear. There was confusion, there was uncertainty. Questions were asked in hushed tones. What comes next? Are we safe here? Are we safe anywhere? Less so in Israel. Before the dust had settled, before the dead were buried, before the mourning period was over, the Jewish state had already formulated its response. Conveyed simply, just 2 words. They appeared everywhere, on TV broadcasts and on the front pages of newspapers. They were repeated over and over again by military leaders. They were repeated by political leaders from both sides of the aisle. They appeared on billboards and bumper stickers up and down the country. 2 words. 2 words that will now ring through the ages. Yachad Nenatseach. Together we will be victorious. Together, because without unity there is no victory. And victorious, well, because without victory over terror, there is no hope for peace. It is that sense of togetherness that has become the silver lining in the post-October 7 world. We have been united in grief, yes, but Jewish people around the world have also discovered a newfound sense of pride. The Israeli people also, the youth, the soldiers, all of them are singularly focused, ready to sacrifice it all for their fellow citizens and for us. Israeli society is more united than ever. Even the politicians, for the most part, have softened their attacks on one another and joined forces against a common enemy. It is this unity that is the key ingredient to victory. And seeing that victory through is essential. You know, we often hear from well-meaning politicians, including many allies and friends, that Israel has a right to defend itself. Of course Israel has a right to defend itself, that's obvious. What we don't hear often enough is that Israel has a right to win. It does, it must, and it will. So what does victory look like? King Solomon, who reigned in Jerusalem some 3,000 years ago, famously said, "There is a time for peace, and there is a time for war. The time for a ceasefire is not the day the Jewish state returns fire against its attackers. The time for a ceasefire is the day that all the citizens of Israel can safely live in their homes. Victory also means that Jewish people everywhere stand tall, proud, and unafraid. Victory means that we give not an inch in the battle for Jewish identity. Victory means that those who celebrate the murder of Jews, those that support it, those that allow it under their roofs are rejected thoroughly by the good majority of this great nation. Victory also means that the children of Gaza and Lebanon are no longer the pawns and fodder of terror groups and of the Iranian regime and its proxies. Victory means, through our actions, showing our friends and allies in this country and around the world the pathway to securing the life and the values we stand for, from enemies both within and without. How better to capture the spirit than in the words of a young IDF soldier setting out on a mission to fight for his country. There is no one prouder than I to lead fighters in the hope of completing our mission, said Eitan Oster, aged just 22 years old, a commander in the IDF's elite, a Gulf Commando unit from Rockland. He said this in a video to his family as he left for battle. We are in the midst of a difficult war in which our young generation is standing with supreme bravery, knowing clearly what they are fighting for. A war that, despite the high costs, we have the duty to end with a decisive outcome for the sake of future generations. To my dear family, said young Eitan, G.K. Chesterton once said that the true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him. I embrace and recognize the weight of the responsibility on my shoulders, said Eitan, until victory. And to his family he said, I love you all. Young Eitan was killed just 1 week ago. He was the first soldier to die in Israel's ground war in the north. Friends, Israel is a nation with a vision, a nation with a plan, a nation that has not lost its hope for a better future, a nation whose sons and daughters believe in it and who are willing to die for it. It is a small nation that has charted a path for all of Western civilization. It has shown what it means to stand for something, what it means to love what you stand for, and what it means to fight for it. Dear friends, through the clarifying lens of history, the Ivy Leagues, the chattering European leaders, the United Nations, the International Criminal Court and their fellow travelers will all look like midgets. And Israel, tiny Israel, will look more and more like a giant among nations. Often alone, yes, but clear-eyed, resilient, and determined. We in America owe it to the hostages to follow Israel's lead. We owe it to the victims. We owe it to the soldiers who go with pride into battle. The destiny of the flag with one star is deeply bound to the destiny of the flag with 50 stars. Our connection runs thicker than blood. Together we are unbeatable. Yachad Nenaseh. With unity, we will be victorious. Yisrael Chad.
Thank you, David. Through the ages, the Jewish response to darkness has always been to increase light. Traditionally, we feel a duty to perform chesed, kindness, as a way of transforming the harsh realities in the world around us. Many Jews in our community get their sense of Jewish identity by performing these mitzvot for the greater good. From Stony Point to Palisades, from Nyack to Suffern, we engaged in many acts of chesed, kindness. Our children sent cards, letters, and videos to the IDF and families of the hostages and victims of violence. There were bake sales in Muncie, clothing collected for newborns whose fathers were slain or serving in the IDF. Fundraisers for Zaka, United at Salah, Magen David Adom, and many other organizations in Israel. There were blankets, scarves, hats, and gloves knitted by our seniors. There were collections of clothing and other items from New City, Orangetown, Pearl River, and Nyack. There were rallies, vigils, and tehillim in all 5 towns. Complementing these chesed projects were daily tehillim psalms led by women in Wesley Hills, as well as volunteer missions from the Orangetown Jewish Center in Camp Ramah and Nyack. And we at Federation are so proud of each and every one of you who acted, K'ish Echad, Lev Echad, as one person with one heart, raising over $1 million in emergency funds for the people of Israel, including funding 2 Magen David Adom ambulances to replace those lost on October 7th and since, with the leadership of congregations of the Israel Nyack and of the Yusuf and Lang families. We've learned that here in Rockland, with the highest density and most diverse Jewish population in the United States, there are no bounds to our chesed. No wrong way to do it. It is one of the strongest unifying elements of our diverse Rockland Jewish community. We've learned, though, to our sorrow, that trauma, crisis, and loss bring us together. But it doesn't keep us together. What keeps us together isn't reactive, it's proactive. It's kindness done, it's care demonstrated. It is persistence in the face of adversity and evil. It is unrelenting advocacy, hope, and courage. It is sharing the very values of kindness that define us with those beyond our community, many of whom are here today. And even when all we want to do is turn inwards. As we've learned over the past year, we cannot take our own safety or comfort for granted, even here in America. We certainly cannot assume our sisters and brothers in Israel are secure, even as they fight and they triumph over the most evil and repugnant terrorists on the planet. We cannot ignore the loss, the sadness, the anger that has touched every single one of us. If I learned one thing in a year of organizing events, programs, fundraising, talking, explaining, advocating, lobbying, marching, and rallying for Israel and the Jewish people, it is that while we face overwhelming numbers of adversaries, whether through hatred or ignorance, we are never stronger than when we act together, when we are united. When we are divided, as Israel was on October 6th, we are strong, we are prey, and the wolves circle and strike. When we are united by brotherhood and sisterhood, when we are acting as one, when we are doing acts of kindness together, and when we raise our voices together, there is no one, no enemy, no adversary, no hate-spouting, mask-wearing, vandalizing, public space-occupying anti-Semite who can overcome us. United in kindness, in resolution, in responsibility for each other, we are stronger than we ever imagined. Am Hanetzach Lo Nefacheh. The eternal people does not fear. Am Yisrael Chai.
In the days following October 7th, I traveled to Israel with Ari Rosenblum to demonstrate our solidarity with our Israeli family and to see how our emergency appeal dollars were being put to vital use. It was a powerful experience for me and Ari. Tonight, we are honored to welcome our District 17 Congressman, Michael Lawler, to share his thoughts about his trip to Israel in those early days and the conclusions that he drew and acted on.